We often forget how much unites all members of humanity. Perhaps we need some outside universal threat to make us recognize this common bond. I occasionally think of how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world. UFO and UAP sightings are at an all-time high. Aliens are rumored to be lurking about, whether it's in your mall or outside the mall. Here's how. Aliens will invade mankind.
In our obsession with antagonisms at the moment, we often forget how much unites all the members of humanity. Perhaps we need some outside universal threat to make us recognize this common bond. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world. And yet, I ask you, is not an alien force already among us? What could be more alien to the universal aspirations of our peoples than war and the threat of war?
What's up, nerds, freaks, and geeks, and all that's in between? It's me, your girl, Daisy Dame. Welcome back to my channel. I'm genuinely blessed to have you here. Last time we came across a very peculiar word, and I wanted to share with you what I have found. Transmedium objects. What does this mean? Transmedium object means an object that is observed to transition between space and the atmosphere, or between the atmosphere and water, and that is very significant. UFOs aren't new. Indeed, they have been around for a long time. It's been around for millennia, with depictions of disc-like objects, unusual atmospheric objects found in Egyptian, Sumerian, Greek, and others. They're forms of artwork and literature. The origin of today's fascination can be traced back to the civilization pilot Kenneth Arnold. On June 24th, 1947, Arnold claimed to have seen 9 blue, glowing objects flying fast, estimated at 1,700 miles per hour in a V formation. He believed the objects were some sort of military operation, and to be honest, it was right around World War II, so who would blame him? It was indeed just 2 years after World War II and the first year of the Cold War, but the military confirmed there were no tests being conducted near Mount Rainier that day. Arnold spoke of the craft's motion as similar to a saucer if you skip it across water. The media coined the now ubiquitous phrase as the flying saucer. Soon other reports of a group of 9 UFOs cropped up across the region. They legit ended this off with he might have been hallucinating. Oh my goodness. It's the mother of all UFO sightings, but no object was actually seen during the event of Roswell. It was summertime, and it was 1947. Rancher William Mack Brazel discovered a mysterious debris in his New Mexico pastures, including metallic rods, chunks of plastic, and unusual scraps. And after the wreckage was reported, soldiers from the nearby Roswell Army Air Force Base came to retrieve the materials. News headlines claimed that the flying saucer crashed in Roswell, but military officials said it was only a downed weather balloon. Ever since, conspiracy theorists have gone wild. Sure, a weather balloon. We haven't heard that before. Ever since, conspiracy theorists have been hard at work trying to prove that the wreckage was extraterrestrial, with one man, Ray Santilli, going as far to release a video in 1995 of an alien dissection purported to have taken place after the incident. Santilli would admit in 2006 that it was a staged film, but he maintained that it was based on actual footage. As it turns out, the government was indeed covering something up, but it wasn't aliens. The crashed weather balloon was, in fact, part of a top-secret military endeavor called Project Mogul, which launched high-altitude balloons carrying equipment used to detect Soviet tests. They provided plenty of proof afterwards to show that this is indeed what it was. What do you guys think about all that? Did you know that before? What do you think now that you do? Don't forget, please comment down below and hit that like. It really does help. Thank you so much. Let's continue. But wait, there's more. On the evening of August 25, 1951, three science professors from Texas Tech were enjoying an evening outdoors in Lubbock when they looked up and saw a semicircle of lights flying above them at high speeds. Over the next few days, dozens of reports flooded in across town. Texas Tech freshman Coral Hart Jr. even snapped photos called the Lubbock Lights phenomenon, which was published in the newspapers across the country and in Life magazine. The Project Blue Book, which led the Air Force inquiries into UFOs, investigated the events. The official conclusion that the lights were birds reflecting luminance from Lubbock's new street lamps. Many people who saw the lights, however, refused to accept that explanation and argue that the lights were flying way too fast. In the film Close Encounters of the Third Kind, there's a famous scene where a UFO makes electrics in a car go haywire. The real-life inspiration for that was a scene that came from the incident in 1957 when dozens of citizens of Levelland, Texas, individually reported seeing rocket or strange lights interfered with their vehicles. Engines died, lights cut out. Though the police initially thought reports were a hoax, they too saw the mysterious lights. As they investigated the situation, Project Blue Book was assigned to investigate the case. Their findings? It was an electrical storm and a ball of lightning caused the lights and mechanical malfunctions. What? And mind you, this was despite the fact that there was no reported thunderstorms in that area that night. How strange is that? Was that truly something so simple? Let's look at number 5. Tehran, 1976. September 19th, 1976 incident in Tehran, Iran started much like many others, with phone calls from concerned citizens reporting a bright light in the sky. An F-4 fighter jet was sent out to investigate, but as it neared the object, its instruments blacked out, forcing the pilot to return to base. A second F-4 took its place and neared the unusual object. It achieved radar lock, but according to the pilot, the UFO released a glowing object, which the pilot assumed was some sort of missile heading straight for him. As he prepared to fight back, the pilot experienced malfunctions with his instruments, and he witnessed another bright object released from the UFO. He believed the other object released from the UFO headed straight toward the ground. He safely returned to the base despite the faulty equipment. After the incident, Iran contacted the U.S. to aid them in the investigation. The unclassified memo by the U.S. Air Force Section Chief Lieutenant Olin Moy detailed events of that night. There are explanations for nearly all of them. First, the bright light seen by civilians and possibly pilots might have been Jupiter, which was visible in the night sky. Second, the author Brian Dunning notes on his podcast Skip to Pod, the second F-4 had a long history of electrical problems, meaning the instrumental malfunction might have failed regardless, and maybe it wasn't possible. Maybe it wasn't the UFO interference. It also could explain the radar lock. It might simply have been a malfunction. The first F-4 reports Dunning was never turned in for maintenance following the incident, so there's no official indication that its instruments failed one way or another, by one method or another. And finally, for the alien missiles, there was a meteor shower that night, which could easily account for said sighting. Or is that just what they want you to think? In December 1980, U.S. Air Force members stationed at two British Royal Air Force bases, Woodbridge and Bentwaters, reported seeing strange and colorful lights above a forest about 100 miles northeast of London. One man who entered the forest to investigate claimed to have discovered some sort of spacecraft there, and the next day others confirmed damage to the nearby trees and a higher than normal level of radiation at the site. Obviously, radiation is one thing that kept popping up time and time again. Lieutenant Colonel Charles Holt recorded his observations on an audio tape as he watched the lights. While it's no definitive proof, theorists consider this the strongest evidence of the events. But the UK's Ministry of Defence, which oversaw reports of the UFO incidents, until the early 2000s, didn't find any credible threat to the nation and didn't pursue it any further. At Roswell, the UFO tourism is prevalent in the forest, and there's even an official UFO trail that visitors can hike, which sits a model of the reported spacecraft. There's just a bit more, and I thank you so much for joining me. Now let's discuss the Belgium wave. In 1989 through 1990, at the end of November 1989, citizens of Belgium reported seeing a large triangular UFO hovering in the sky, but beyond the visual sightings, no evidence was found of any UFO's existence. A few months later, in the 1990s, a new sighting of multiple objects were reported, confirmed by two military ground stations. Two F-16 fighter jets were sent out to investigate the anomalies, and though the pilots could not see anything visually, they were able to lock onto their targets with radar, but the UFOs were said to move so fast that the pilots ended up losing them. Some 13,500 people estimated to have witnessed the incident, making it one of the most widely experienced UFO sightings in the modern era. The Belgian Air Force had no logical explanation for the activity, but it acknowledged that an unknown activity had taken place in the air. They reached out to the Ministry of Defense to investigate further, but once it was determined that it wasn't hostile or an aggressive one, they stopped the investigation completely. The next article will go on to show how aliens are just more and more popular than ever. It's funny because pop culture will flirt with the idea but also fears it. It goes on to state that every generation gets an extraterrestrial invasion its time's demand. In 1938, conflict simmering in Europe meant the radio broadcast of War of the Worlds became a panic-inducing news event in America, which I found curious because it's like, could we recreate that in modern times? I'm sure we could. But it goes on to state all the other, adorable alien movies and the not-so-adorable ones, and how it is a staple of pop culture and how many really look back to that as genuine. And there was even sitcoms like Third Rock from the Sun that was very popular, and they're saying basically, will it be a self-fulfilling prophecy? Nowadays, though it's a news topic, was once exclusive, Providence tabloids has entered mainstream. This past summer, they had a committee testimony about the non-human biologics of the UFO crash in the Little Book of Aliens. 2023 astrophysicist Adam Frank argues that we are closer than ever to being able to see possible signs of another civilization in outer space, just in time for a population that feels alienated from life on Earth. Thank you all for joining me. Please don't forget, like, sub, and hit that bell. I really do appreciate it. I hope you're doing swell. I hope you're doing well. Tell your loved ones you love them. You don't need an excuse, and I'll see you soon. Bye, guys. Oh, and by the way, don't forget, check out my Whatnot, Facebook, and YouTube, DameVonBonDaisy. My Insta, Snap, X, and TikTok are all modmaggieart. See you there. Love you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, bye. And one last thing, don't forget, subscribe to my second channel, Maggie Mayhem 0222, okay? That's really it. Love you. Bye.